Sports Network. Lobo Basketball has been brought to you by New Mexico State Parks Boating and Safety. Be safe on the water. Lobos wear life jackets. PNM. Talk to us at pnm.com. Also brought to you by Route 66 Casino Hotel. Quality service and value. Get your kicks. This is the Lobo Postgame Show. Once again, Robert Portnoy.
Welcome back to the legendary pit. And, tonight was a pit game. Over 12,000 on hand in Dreamstyle Arena, the pit tonight. And you hear the hand as Lobo men's basketball coach Paul Weir goes over for an embrace with his wife Alma. And what a night. I mean, this is a big one for the New Mexico Lobos as they beat the Rebels 91-90 in Dreamstyle Arena, the pit. You're locked into the Lobo basketball postgame show. The Lobos with 2 Everguard Solar and Everguard Roofing Slam Dunks tonight at $10 a dunk. That's $20 to All Face. All Face serves over 2,500 kids and their families every year. They teach them how to prevent abuse. They guide them as they recover from it. Help us give kids back their childhood. Learn more by visiting allface.org. 91-90, and man, oh man, where do we start here, Hunter? It's too bad they closed out the video replay of the game after the officials left the court. I sure would have loved to see that last sequence. I don't think that the last little tip-in was off the hand of the Rebel in time to have counted, but it tantalizingly hit 3 parts of that rim before it came out. It might not have counted, but it was sure scary there at the end.
Yeah, there could have been some fouls called at the end, but I tell you what, some of these things, it just kind of confused me. I mean, especially when Firstinger picks up his 5th foul and fouls out, and the basket was good for McCoy. Did the officials, one, make the call an offensive charge, and then the other official, the off official, disputed it and said, no, wait, Joe's in the restricted area. So those are the type of things that, just the details, attention to details at the end are so important. And I'm just not certain how the officials are able to do that if the other official didn't whistle that Joe was in a restricted area, didn't learn that until they came to the videotape. So anyway.
At this point, water under the bridge,
yeah,
but certainly some serious fodder for us to talk about.
Well, I mean, this is all part of the game, and we talked about this, especially in the last 3 or 4 games where there's been so many personal fouls called. I mean, is there a reason for that? I mean, today's game was 50 personal fouls called, maybe because of what happened against Boise State at the tail end of that game, just trying to clean it up. I'm not sure.
It certainly has been that way for a few games in a row now. Lobos 91, Rebels 90. We pause on the Lobo Basketball post-game show. Tons to do. Stay with us. Lobo Basketball from Learfield. We're back. Lobo Basketball post-game show. Live from Dreamstyle Arena, the pit. Lobo head coach Paul Weir in the stands here in the legendary pit, thanking the fans for several minutes after the conclusion of today's contest. New Mexico 91, UNLV 90 final. And we just got confirmation from the Mountain West officials, Hunter, that McCoy's tip at the end was off his fingertips before the horn sounded and the light came on. It would have counted 3 times off the rim and maybe even a touch of the backboard before it came out. Wow. What a finish. That was tough. Bank of the West continues its commitment as the Lobo 3-point basket sponsor. After every game, they donate to Special Olympics of New Mexico, and they've done it now for more than 20 years, and Bank of the West has contributed over $100,000 to Special Olympics of New Mexico as its proud partner of Lobo Athletics. Lobos 91 and the Rebels 90. Timeout on the Lobo Basketball postgame show. We'll still hear from Coach Weir. You'll want to miss it. Lobo Basketball from Learfield. Welcome back inside Dreamstyle Arena, the pit, on the Lobo Basketball postgame show. New Mexico 91, UNLV 90 final. And we just got to look at a replay, a stop-motion replay of the McCoy tip at the end of the game, and it was off his fingertips ever so slightly before that red light came on. And it hit the rim 3 times like we thought. I thought the last touch was off the backboard. It wasn't. It was 4 times off the rim before it came out. Unbelievable finish. All right, it's time for our State Farm Insurance assist of the game when teammates help each other out. Great plays happen like this. To Malawatch now between the wheels. McQuatch comes angle right.
Nice
the baseline
pass.
cuts. Mike Kuiper for the two-hand flush and a beautiful bounce pass from Malawatch. The Malawatch assist. The Kuiper finish. That's your State Farm Insurance assist of the game, presented by State Farm. Get an agent that gets you. Lobos 91, UNLV 90. We take time out on the Lobo Basketball post-game show. Back after this, Lobo Basketball from Learfield. New Mexico 91, UNLV 90 final in Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. Joe Fursinger has come out for a little post-game work, but not before posing for photos with some youngsters here on Bob King Court. It's the Lobo Basketball post-game show. The legendary Pit was rocking this afternoon, and the Lobos rock UNLV. New Mexico sweeps the Rebels. New Mexico grabs a share of third place, tied at 10-6 in league with Fresno State. New Mexico holds its destiny in its hands with a road game this week coming up at CSU midweek, and then the Senior Day finale on Saturday, next weekend at 2 o'clock here at Dreamstyle Arena Pit. How about 15-4-11 for that one? Why not? Lobos 91, Rebels 90 is your final. Okay, it's time for our P&M Reliable Player of the Game. Much debate courtside on this one with Hunter Green, with Michael Carlisle, and we sort of have come to the consensus that because of his clutch play down the stretch, Hunter, who is the P&M Reliable Player of the Game?
Freshman Malawatch.
McQuatch Malawatch is your P&M Reliable Player of the Game. McQuatch Malawatch, the Lobo game changer. Throws it out to McQuatch. Deep right angle three. You bet! Oh, the true freshman is so calm under pressure. Lobos by one, 91-90. 16 seconds to go. Malawatch scores the last 5 for New Mexico. A layup first, a 3-ball next, as he is your P&M Reliable Player of the Game. P&M delivers reliable energy to you 24/7. Committed community partners, P&M, adding cleaner resources, including more solar and wind energy. Working to build a strong, sustainable energy future for New Mexico. Talk to us at pnm.com, or you can manage your account and learn how to save money on your electric bill. Your P&M Reliable Player of the Game. The true freshman, McQuatch Malawatch. His final numbers, 13 points, 5 of 7 floor, 2 of 2 from 3, 1 of 2 at the foul line, 3 rebounds, 1 offensive, and 2 assists. Did not turn it over in 20 minutes. McQuatch Malawatch is your P&M Reliable Player of the Game. It very easily could have been Sam Logwood, 17 and 10 with a double-double. It very easily could have been Anthony Mathis, 18 points, 7 of 7 at the foul line, and 3 of 5 from deep. But because of the clutch buckets down the stretch and the incredible calm under pressure, McQuatch Malawatch is the P&M Reliable Player of the Game. Time for us to pause on the Lobo Basketball post-game show. Post-game comments with Coach Weir to come. Lobos 91, Rebels 90. Final, Lobo Basketball from Learfield. Back inside Dreamstyle Arena, the Pit. Lobos 91, UNLV 90 is your final. New Mexico with the victory improves to 15-14 and 10-6 in conference play. Flat-footed tie with Fresno State in third place in league behind Nevada and Boise State. Who'da thunk it? Your Subway Sub of the Game brought to you by Subway Restaurants. Hunter, who do you like?
Joe Fursinger.
Joe comes off the bench, has a huge game for New Mexico before he fouls out on a controversial play.
Yes.
Fursinger scores 13, pulls 3 boards, shoots 9 of 11 at the free throw line, and blocks 2 shots. He now has 101 for his career, and he's 8th all-time in New Mexico basketball history in block shots. Joe Fursinger, the Subway Sub of the Game. Congratulations to Joe for being named the Subway Sub of the Game. Subway Restaurants keep you going on and off the court. Stop in today. Lobos 91, UNLV 90 is your final. Let's take a timeout. We'll still hear from Coach Weir. Paul Weir will join us courtside in the post-game coach's comments to come. The Lobos 91, the Rebels 90 is the final. Don't go away. Lobo Basketball from Learfield. 91-90, the Lobos beat the running Rebels in legendary Pin tonight. Dreamstyle Arena off the chain, more than 12,000 on hand for a Sunday high noon matchup with one of the top rivals of the Lobos in the Mountain West. And what a game it was. New Mexico hangs on 91-90 is the final. Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino, your home for winning entertainment, including simulcast racing. The Albuquerque Downs Racetrack and Casino. Well, Hunter, we set up the storylines before the game, didn't we? The Lobos could take over third with Fresno State with a victory. Got that done.
Check.
The Lobos could sweep UNLV and hold the tiebreaker over the Rebels. Got that done.
Check.
The Lobos have won 3 in a row in conference play here down the stretch in February. Got that done.
Check.
They're now 9-4 over their last 13 games. That dates back to that blowout loss, 90-62, January 3 in Boise. 9 out of the last 13 are wins. Check. And then, remember when everybody had their heads hanging and New Mexico was 3-8 with just a couple of games left in non-league play? Since then, with this win here tonight, the Lobos have won 12 of 18.
Man.
Check. Pretty impressive stuff. And you know, something that Coach Weir did tell me this week, the victory over Marvin Menzies and UNLV 5 weeks ago in the Thomas and Mack was the toughest of his career because while he was ecstatic for his team, he was sad for his great friend, in Marvin Menzies. He felt bad for Coach Menzies. And Brandon Mason, who worked with Coach Menzies as well, expressed those same sentiments. So Weir gets his sweep of his mentor by winning here today. Both of them buzzer beaters right down to the finish. And, heartbreak for his friend, but elation in that New Mexico clubhouse or locker room here today. Just amazing.
No question, Coach Weir has respect for his former boss and his friend, and but when it's like playing my brother one-on-one in the backyard. I love my brother, but I'm gonna beat him. And anytime I got a chance, I'm gonna beat him, and that's the same thing here. I think Coach Weir, so competitive, wanted this win, not only for himself, for his players, but totally has respect for Coach Menzies, and has worked with him for 9 years, and but the respect is there. You could tell.
We have Lobo head men's basketball coach Paul Weir for our post-game coach's comments. New Mexico 91, UNLV 90. Coach Weir, did you age a little bit as that ball was bouncing?
We got to almost be off the air. This is the longest I've ever took to get. You guys must be filling with some real boring stuff right now.
Thanks for coming out, Coach. Congratulations. Look at all these storylines.
I didn't say positive. I said boring. You guys are just filling right now. You're just kind of going. You know what I mean?
Well, we were just talking about just you going up against your former boss, and then of course friend.
Sure.
The respect you have for him, and I was kind of relating that to the backyard battles between me and my brother.
There you go.
I love him, but I want to beat him every time.
No question.
But you got the respect for Coach Menzies.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest with you. In our profession, I was just saying it in the post-game press conference. Winning, unfortunately, you don't get a ton of joy out of it as a coach. It's a relief. It's just you're on to the next challenge and thing. I'm really happy for the guys that they get to win. That's where my joy comes from, seeing their kind of happiness. When we won at Vegas, I was really happy for our guys because we needed that win at the time. I think we all felt that. But I felt awful for Coach Menzies just as a person. He's meant a lot to me in my life, my family. He's been everything to me. So even now, as I reflect on this game, as happy as I am that we won, there's a flip side to that of just feeling bad that, what he may be going through on the other end. I wouldn't wish that on anyone that's close to me, and he's very close to me.
How long did it take for you to decide to break out the cherry sweater again?
To be totally honest, I've lost enough weight. I don't really have many suits left that fit. So this really wasn't like this strategic plan. I'm looking around going, that suit doesn't fit, that suit doesn't fit, that suit doesn't fit, and that one's still stuck at the dry cleaners. So we're in a bit of a scramble here. Let's go back to the sweater. It's a noon game, and let me just kind of have some fun at noon on a Sunday.
Get the waistline on a couple of those pants. Take it in, Coach.
Maybe when the season's over, I'll be able to just go to like some Golden Corral for a while. And just there you go. Yeah, we got to go to the sponsor. Sorry. Hunter being such a good guy there. Look at you guys.
Dialed in. That's
awesome. Wash it down with a Pepsi. We know the deal. You know what I mean? We know the deal.
Good. Okay, so first I've got to ask you, how calm, how collected, how unflappable, and how spectacular your true freshman McQuatch Malawach is to do what he did at the end of the game.
Yeah, I hate saying, Roy Williams says the best way to learn, he thought, is a close loss or a close win. You can take. You never want to say you learn from a loss, because losing just sucks. But the Boise game for us was really, really key, and we unraveled. We lost our poise. We lost our composure, and ever since then, it's been our number one thing. We're just going to stay poised. Whether we're on a run and they call a timeout and we just need to stay settled, or they're on a run late and we're down. I mean, that was no different than the Boise game as far as the finish. Right. We screwed it up. We turn it over. They make some plays. All of a sudden, we're going from a game we were seemingly going to win to a game we just almost should have lost, and everybody was calm and relaxed and poised, and it's just tremendous growth from that Boise game. You hate to learn lessons from a loss, but we did, and that really, I thought, showed up tonight, and I'm not going to say you're never thankful to lose, but that taught us that. We learned it, and McQuatch, obviously, and it wasn't just him. I thought all the guys were just pretty poised and were able to come up with big plays down the stretch to come out with a win.
Yeah, Jackson struggled a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if he was just pressing, being a senior, wanting to do
we got to get our point guards going. That's just the reality of it. They've both hit a little bit of a spell here. They had 9 turnovers at Wyoming. Didn't get into a groove tonight. Johnson was awesome tonight. That was the best, probably, point guard against our press we've played in conference play. He was terrific. And I don't know whether that just got them on their heels, because I'm getting on them every time out that he's kicking our ass. I don't know what got us in there, but we got to get them going. The point guards right now, the dribbling off the foot, the this, the that, they got to manage the game for us, and that's why these games are just so wild right now, because we're kind of running around out there without a head of a snake,
Coach, we noticed there were 50 personal fouls called in this game,
and
over the last 3 or 4 games, there's just been multitude of personal fouls called. Is that because of the last home game against Boise State where there was a little scuff at the end?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I think as long as it's going back and forth with the fouls, we're okay with it. Like Wyoming, we shot a little bit of a better percentage at the free throw line. Against UNLV, we shoot a little bit of a better percentage at the free throw line. We spent a lot of time on shooting, a lot of time on conditioning. We take pride that we'll be able to make our free throws, and we take pride that they're going to miss some, and they did. And as long as they shoot 70% from the free throw line, and we shoot
in the second half. They shot.
There you go, and we shoot 82.8. We just stole some points there, And again, we're just trying to find every little nook and cranny we can just steal 2, 3, 4, 5 points from, add them all up, and maybe beat someone you're not supposed to beat.
I wrote a list of what I thought were storylines for this particular game, and at the very bottom in blue, in quotes, any other game. And it was something we talked about when we were discussing things in the pregame. And you said that you felt like the single most important thing was not to get caught up in the moment tonight. You talked about their poise down the stretch, but overall, from start to finish, do you feel like the Lobos were able to be calm and not expend too much energy in the first half and kind of keep their wits about them?
For sure. I think we did offensively, for sure. I thought the ball moved really well. I thought down the stretch of the Boise game here, the ball didn't move great. We stood, we turned it over, we watched, and we grew from that. And I thought the ball moved really, really well tonight. And we were good, to shoot 55% in the second half and put up 49 points. I mean, we were good offensively. We've got to find a way to get stops. And I know we give up a lot of size. I know we have issues on the glass. I know there's not a lot of rim protection. There's a lot of excuses for it, but we've got to find a way to get something more defensively out of the group right now.
Coach, you kind of went to some zone, at least out of timeouts.
We did.
And did you think that bothered UNLV at all?
I thought it did a lot. I think of the 4 or 5 possessions, we got 4 or 5 stops. It's the rebounding that hurt us. They rebounded out of the zone 3 straight times, but we were doing it again. We were just trying to keep our bigs from having to get stuck down there. As great as Johnson and Mooring are, we are okay with them trying to go at us. We didn't need Houston and McCoy just murdering us down low. It's very similar to an Arizona team. You just got to kind of take it a little bit from the guard position, and we did. So at the end of the day, the zone I thought was good. We just couldn't rebound out of it, and that's why we couldn't stay in it.
You guys did get beaten on the boards. You figured that might happen against a team as big as UNLV. But I thought with Joe Furstinger kind of fighting foul trouble a little bit and his minutes limited to 18, Sam Logwood going for a double-double for you today, playing as a 5 a lot of the time with their size, and they just keep running 6'10", 6'11", 7 feet out there. It's just incredible. I thought he was huge today.
Yeah, they were big. I thought Vlad was pretty big. Offensively, he struggled and missed some stuff, and you look at those, and then you start to make these greater judgments about him. But if you just look at the defensive end, that's the most impactful Vlad's been in a long time, just around the rim.
Real active.
And that's huge for us. To just steal 17 minutes from him is really, really big. I thought his block was good. Like, we need everything around the rim we can get. So as great as Sam was, I'm really happy Vlad was able to give us some minutes too.
Anthony Mathis, we talked about this. Hunter and I, they really ran at him and tried to take him off the three-point line, and he did a lot of work to get him to himself to the foul line, 7 for 7 to the free throw line. Hunter mentioned he wasn't going to the line much at all early in the year, but it's starting to pick up.
It's the Hunter Green words of wisdom. You know what I mean? You got to get to the free throw line. So. No, I mean, they were just chasing him off the line, he was able to get there. They obviously fouled him on the shot.
He even took one of those long twos that we don't like.
He was supposed to. It was on an underneath out of bounds play. He was supposed to end up in the corner for 3, but he shortchanged it and pulled out. But we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it.
The end up being the game-winning shot from McQuatch Malawach, but tell us what we were trying to get there.
You know, when Joe fouled out, it was, do we go to Vlad or do we go to McQuatch? I felt we needed to make some buckets down the stretch, and we went small. And we ran a play, first play down, spaced the floor to McQuatch, rip, dunk, and he drove on the 5-man. And I thought that opened up the 3 because we were really just trying to space the floor to take these bigs off the dribble offensively and then just trying to hold our own on defense somehow. But we felt that McQuatch gave us a greater offensive threat than Vlad gave us a defensive threat, and that might be just enough down the stretch to win. And fortunately it was. I thought the space to get McQuatch the dunk, I thought gave him the room to get the 3, and that was just the matchup we were going at, is just trying to get their 5s away from the rim and attack from there. And McQuatch was the guy that ended up with 2 really big plays late.
And then after the Coach Menzies timeout, what did you told you guys in terms of defending the final possession? We figured that Johnson would have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, for sure. We knew. I mean, we said top ball screen with Johnson. He's going to get switched out on one of you big guys. You're going to have to keep him in front, force him weak hand, and just kind of play it from there. They got a decent look at the basket and a really good tip look at the basket. But there was a lid on the rim, and that's Bob King or somebody else upstairs looking down and saving us.
So Hunter wanted to ask you, and since it just popped into my head, I'm going to go ahead and do it. The sequence where Joe Furstinger fouled out, where it was clear that one official put his hand behind his head and indicated charge.
Yep.
And we didn't see the other official make the opposite call. But it was obvious that the other official called him over and said, I think that it might be the other way. He could have been in the restricted area.
Yep.
And then they come over to the scores table. The officials over here said, well, if you've got 2 in conflict, they can come to the table. But we only saw 1 foul call indicated on the court.
Good call. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to all those officials at the time. It was like, let's keep going. But once they got to the monitor, there was nothing I could really do.
It was huge.
It was big. That play, I thought, was
good.
I genuinely, I sat there and thought, deja vu. We had the ball. Troy had the ball. We were up 2 for a throw-ahead dunk. He bobbles the ball and loses it, and it ends up and 1 coming back the other way. You're talking a 5-point swing with whatever it was to go. It was a devastating play. But again, our poise after that was terrific. That was a Boise State backbreaker play that we didn't allow to affect anybody's moves. We got in the timeout and said, let's just close this out. Let's be positive. Let's keep working, just like we did at UNLV the first time. Fortunately, we were able to pull it out.
Good point. Yeah, because I wasn't poised. I didn't like it. I mean, I'm sitting there going, well, how do they make that call?
Yeah, I know.
But no, great job. No, that's a good point because in Boise State, you guys were all over.
We lost our minds.
And you were poised and you played through it. So good job.
Talking about a little deja vu, I really felt like that, the end game there, UNLV felt like they might have been fouled.
Yep.
And, you know what? In the interior, those foul calls never come. I can think of Tone passing up on a wide open 3 right here in front of us against Boise to drive to the rim. You probably wanted him to shoot that shot, and he got hit. But they're not going to make those calls at the end.
The New Mexico State game here, the officials apologized to me after the game because we took a game-winning shot and we got fouled underneath at the play. I mean, officials just get in that point of the game, I genuinely feel, and the research will suggest, officials just don't want to decide the game. Yes. They don't. They want to just let the teams dictate it. And I think when they get in those moments, they just want to let the game kind of play it. And it hurt us. I mean, the Mexico State game here, it was a crucial call at a very crucial moment. We would have gone to the free throw line and the whole deal, but they just kind of swallowed it. And fortunately, it was able to kind of even itself out here. If that was a foul, I didn't see it, but there could have been something there.
Coach Weir, congratulations. This is huge. You moved into that tie for third with Fresno State. You've got your destiny right there in your palm with the visit to CSU, and then Fresno State here next Saturday on Senior Day. It's just an incredible run here down the stretch. Keep it going. And
it's incredible. I told the guys after the game that they don't even understand. They're not supposed to be doing this. They're really not. Yeah. It's a lot of fun, and we just got to kind of keep pushing down the stretch.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Good job, Coach.
Yep, no question. Take care.
Lobo head coach Paul Weir, our post-game coach's comments. New Mexico 91, UNLV 90 is the final. And, just astonishing the way that this season has turned here now. Over 500 at 15-14, and they were at 3-8.
Yeah, I mean, I look back at November, December, and how Coach Weir was preaching trust the process, right? I mean, you got to believe, and defense was the anchor. Defense was the backbone of this team. Well, as of late, defense hasn't been, but the offense has just been tremendous. And then, of course, just the play overall, just the poise at the end, like Coach said. You could see the maturation, and you could see the freshmen, like a kid like Pinchuk and Malawatch. True freshmen, really impacting the game here in February. And Coach talked about in pregame, having fun. Well, shoot, winning 3 in a row in February, these guys are having a lot of fun. This is fun, partner.
No question. Okay. Sometimes I wonder about the plus-minus number and if we make more of it than we should, but it is a valuable piece of analysis. And McQuatch Malawatch, the true freshman, who only played 20 minutes, Hunter, when he was on the court, New Mexico outscored UNLV by 16. So for what he did down those final moments, and then for that number, we selected him as the P&M Reliable Player of the Game. And I'm just astonished at his ability to be in those moments as a true freshman and be completely unfazed by any of it. He never hesitates for a second. He's driving Houston and McCoy, driving them hard, and then he's stepping out and shooting a 24-footer to win the game. It just boggles my mind.
Well, you could tell he's totally in the moment, and he's totally just playing the game. I mean, he's not aware, not thinking, just reacting, and that's what makes him so great. And I'll tell you, as a freshman, I love watching him play because his foot movement is awesome. He's got the quickest feet, either off the floor or just driving to the basket.
Wow. Casey Wolfmeyer, our producer and engineer, Michael Carlisle, on-site engineer. My partner is Hunter Green. I'm Robert Portnoy. Thanks to Coach Weir and Anthony Mathis for both joining us throughout the evening on our program. The Lobos will travel. New Mexico plays on the road coming up this week. It's on a Wednesday. It is at CSU, a 7 o'clock tip. Our airtime 6:30 with the Bank of the West pregame show. That is on Wednesday, February 28th against Colorado State in Moby in Fort Collins. Man, what a night. What an afternoon, really. Lobos led by 18 from Anthony Mathis, 17 from Sam Logwood. He goes 17 and 10, double-double for Sam. They get double digits, 13 from Malawatch and Firstinger. They get 9 from Simons off the bench, 6 from Antono, 4 from McNeil, and 1 from Pinchuk. All that to offset Johnson's 25 and 9 assists, 25 points, 9 assists. Their point guard, UNLV. Houston with a double-double, had it at halftime, finished 18 and 13. They got 15 from McCoy and 8 boards and 12 from Mooring, but just 1 field goal make. UNM defeats UNLV 91-90 is the final. See you in Fort Collins on Wednesday, partner.
Yep, bring your jacket.
Got it. Ready to go. On AM 770 and 94.5 FM, News Radio KKOB, we've got the Overtime Call-In Show. JJ Buck is at the ready to take your phone calls next here in Albuquerque. Okay, final score for the final time. The Lobos, with the win, improved to 15 and 14 and 10 and 6 in league, dropped UNLV to 19 and 10 and 8 and 8 overall in conference. The Lobos tie Fresno State for third in the Mountain West. New Mexico 91, UNLV 90. So long, everybody. You've been listening to Lobo Basketball from Learfield.